Hello everyone, welcome to Pediatrics by Dr. Anand. This is the case presentation video number 5. Very beautifully I have explained the case presentation format in detail from part 1 to part 4. This is part 5, okay? Please watch. It will be really helpful for you if you are MBBS, DM, intern or any student. Today we're going to talk about birth history. Today we're going to talk about birth history in detail. So birth history, what all questions I should ask or what should I write in the birth history? See, randomly, what do we write roughly? We write like, sir, my patient was a normal vaginal delivery. He was 2.5 kg. He was, cried immediately after birth, right? And he was, like you can say he was a male baby, born on which date? 11th March 2021. Was it a, these are like you have to ask all this birth history, but let's just put in a proper format. The first thing is you need to ask what is the birth order of the baby. Very important. Why should I know it is a second pregnancy or a third pregnancy? See, 2 or 3 children if the mother is already having, then the coming child will be very prone for any idea malnutrition. See, in India, you remember, okay, it's very important if second or third birth order is there, that baby can land up into malnutrition. That's very important. If the delivery duration of 2 deliveries are in less than 2 years, then also our baby can land up into malnutrition. So birth order is important. Second important thing you need to know is whether the multiple pregnancies, as in like twin pregnancies, are there or not. These are very beautiful thought process. You must ask yourself, why do you want to ask multiple pregnancies? Why do you want to ask whether it is a twin delivery or it is not a twin delivery? Because always remember, second twin, no, he's always into insult. Second twin has a more incidence of hypoxia or hypoglycemia, or you can say birth asphyxia also, birth trauma also. All these problems the baby can have of the second twin. Are you understanding? These are very important things. Okay, multiple pregnancies, I need to ask the mother. What else will you ask? Mode of delivery, very important. You need to know, right, whether it is a mode of delivery, whether it is a normal vaginal delivery or a lower segment cesarean section. So that is also important in the birth history. Then what should I ask the mother? You will ask whether basically like place of delivery. Was the baby born in a hospital? Was the baby born at home or by dai? And he was born at a hospital. Was it a government hospital? Was it a private hospital? How much far is the hospital from the house? uh, you know these all things we need to know. Okay, then very importantly, then was the baby born at Anganwadi worker place, where it was at an Anganwadi center where the baby was born. Okay, fifth important thing you must know regarding this is nothing but the important birth history which you should know is the, yeah, very important. So who conducted the delivery? The person who conducted, was it a doctor? Was it a healthcare professional? Was it a dai? Was it at home by grandmother? Then comes the gestational age of the baby. That's very important again in birth history. Whether it is a term baby, whether it was a preterm baby or a post-term. What is term pregnancy? 37 to 41 completed weeks. And what is preterm? Preterm is less than 37 weeks of life. And what is a post-term baby? More than 42 weeks of period of gestation is a post-term baby. These all are exam questions. Wherever I'm putting a star mark, you must know that. Okay, why preterm is important? Like why I should know better whether the baby is preterm or not? Because of PDA. What is PDA? Patent ductus arteriosus. More the baby is a pretermer, more he has chances that his ductus arteriosus will remain patent or will remain open. What is ductus arteriosus? This one, can you see? This is the pulmonary artery. Okay, and this is the imagine descending aorta, and this is the PDA. The patent ductus arteriosus is between the pulmonary artery and descending aorta. Number one. Number two, it is a left to right shunt. It is a left to right shunt. Remember that. It is a acyanotic congenital heart disease. It is nothing but patent ductus arteriosus. I'm just telling random points so that you can brush up your knowledge here and there. Okay, in detail it is there in my mobile app. You can watch it later. So patent ductus arteriosus, it is a acyanotic congenital heart disease, left to right shunt, continuous machinery murmur, hyperdynamic precordium, bounding pulses, or you can say easily palpable dorsalis pedis artery. That is also important. Dorsalis pedis artery, easily palpable dorsalis pedis artery, that also you should know. Okay, and yeah, these were the important points. So I should know that my baby is a preterm, or was it a term baby, was it a post term baby? These are conditions I deserve to know, right? Okay, what else? So birth weight, yeah, very important. Birth weight of the baby, whether it is a low birth weight, whether the baby is a small for gestational age, AGA or LGA. So you should know what is SGA. Small for gestational age. I need to know my birth weight can roughly tell me whether the baby was small for gestational age, or AGA is appropriate for gestational age, and then we have LGA, that is large for gestational age. If we plot this in a proper diagram, examiner always asks these questions. This is the diagram, and this part is nothing but the our weight of the baby, and this part is nothing but the age of the baby. Okay, if a newborn baby has come, this is 10th centile and 90th centile. So remember, if the baby's weight for age is less than 10th centile, that is known as small for gestational age. I'll repeat again: small for gestational age, nothing but weight for age. If I write properly for exam, weight for age less than 10th centile will be a baby known as small for gestational age, and the baby between 10th and 90th centile will be called as appropriate for gestational age, and the baby who will be is more than 90th centile will be large for gestational age, LG, large for gestational age. Okay, these are exams questions, star mark. Okay, examiner always ask you these questions. So again, birth weight and little gestational age is important for me to know. Okay, now what else? What are the other points? So yes, very important, whether the baby cried immediately after birth or not. He did not cry, doctor. After bag and mask he cried. After 5-10 minutes he cried. After stimulation he cried. So it's important for us to know. So whether cried immediately after birth or not, and then very important details of resuscitation. How much bag and mass was required? Was the baby intubated? Was the baby referred from some other hospital? So details of resuscitation, and whether the baby cried immediately after birth or not. And Apgar score, last but not the least. What is Apgar score? Like, Apgar score is done at first minute and then at fifth minute of life in general. Okay. What is Apgar? APGAR, right? So Apgar. So then the full form is appearance, pulse, weight. I'll write it. So Apgar score, point number one. It is not a part of neonatal resuscitation. That is also a very important point. It is not a part of neonatal resuscitation. Remember, Apgar score is a scoring system to know the clinical assessment of the baby. To clinically assess the baby, we do something known as Apgar score for clinically assessing the baby. It is not a part of the neonatal resuscitation. Neonatal resuscitation is entirely separate. The full form of Apgar score is APGAR, appearance. Then we have pulse. Then we have grimace. Then we have activity. And then we have respiration. Okay, this is the full form of Apgar score. Okay, and remember, respiratory rate is not a part of Apgar score. Okay, and then I have a mobile app by name of Pediatrics by Dr. Anand for UG, PG nurses and DM students. So there also you can watch all these videos in detail. Like every video of Apgar score, resuscitation, I have explained in detail. Then comes the respiratory rate. Remember, respiratory rate is not a part of Apgar score. Okay, it is not a part of Apgar score. You know that, right? Okay, very good. Next important point. Okay, so now if I plot everything together, birth history, we just now discussed birth history, right? So if I sum up, I'll be telling, sir, my patient is second in the birth order. Like one full line, if you have to speak to the examiner, my patient is second in the birth order. He was twin B, normal vaginal delivery, cried immediately after birth, and normal vaginal delivery at a government hospital. The baby cried immediately after birth. Okay. Okay, then it was a term pregnancy. Baby was a term baby and 2.7 kg baby. He was a male baby. Sex also is important. And then what else? The baby's Apgar score was at 7 by 10 at first minute and 9 by 10 at fifth minute. And any events, if it is there, then you tell whether the baby needed resuscitation or anything like that. So these are the very important points we must know regarding the birth history. Are you understanding? I have explained in depth and detail. Okay. Next comes the neonatal history. Neonatal history is also important for us to understand. Okay. In the neonatal history, like antenatal, natal, and postnatal. Okay. So in this natal history now, but I need to ask whether the baby is exclusive breastfed or not. I need to ask whether the baby was bottle fed or not. Yes or no? Will you not ask in the whole birth history? Antenatal, natal, and postnatal. So antenatal I have already covered in the last video, first trimester, second trimester, and everything. Okay, so in this now I need to ask whether the baby is exclusive breastfeeding or not, bottle feed or not. What's the definition of exclusive breastfeeding? So I am writing this. That's the definition. No food or drink unless medically indicated medicine No food or drink unless medically indicated medicine. Breastfeeding started within 1 hour of life till 6 months. That is known as exclusive breastfeeding. Okay, exclusive breastfeeding, that's a definition. Exclusive, only and only breastfeed, nothing else. Okay, no water, no honey, no sugar, nothing, only and only breastfeed. That you should know. Are you understanding? So these all antenatal, natal and postnatal history, like kind of a birth history, it collaborates everything together. Okay, and again, very important, I need to ask regarding the feeding problems. Are you able to feed properly? Are you using bottle feeding? Are you using, what kind of feed are you using? Is the baby having distress? Like that history you will ask. If the patient will have a fast breathing or not. Whether the baby is, कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, बच्चा बहुत पीला है तो प्रॉब्लम है, नीला है तो प्रॉब्लम है. मीन्स if the baby is too much yellow, then it is a problem, leads to jaundice. If the baby is too much blue, that will lead to nothing but cyanosis. So these all feeding problems I must ask the mother in general in my history examination. Are you understanding? Yes or no? And again, blue also. And blue also, if I say, you need to know whether the baby is blue because of acrocyanosis. What is acrocyanosis? Acro means periphery and cyanosis means blue discoloration. It is one of the common manifestations seen in a newborn which looks abnormal but is normal. Okay, what are the other causes of cyanosis you can think of? One is acrocyanosis. Can you think of any congenital cyanotic heart disease, CCHD, congenital cyanotic heart disease? And if it was a preterm, then you can think of, see, more the baby is a preterm, the more the baby's lungs will have deficiency of surfactant, and that surfactant deficiency can lead to something known as HMD or RDS. What is HMD? Hyaline membrane disease. Hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome. These are all the roughly causes of cyanosis in general which I should come across during my case. Are you understanding? Yes or no? It's too much of information. It's bulk of information you must remember. And any history of hospitalization. The mother says baby was a pretermer. Doctor said we had to admit the baby for few days, this and that. So you'll get a rough idea about it. Okay. After all the elaborative history, now comes the developmental history. Developmental history, of course, the most important history you must know is regarding the milestones. Yes or no? Milestone is everything. It's like a bread and butter for pediatrician. In detail, I have covered a lot of videos on YouTube. You must watch it. Right now, in general, milestones are divided into gross motor, then we have fine motor, then we have personal and social, then we have personal and social, then we have language, personal and social, then we have language, and then we have last is vision and hearing. Vision and hearing, these are the domains of development. You need to ask the child in each development, each domain. Okay, in detail it is there in my mobile app. You can watch it there. If I keep telling right now, the video only will not get over. It's a case format video. I'm telling you the case format. Now come to the nutritional history of the child. Nutritional history, yes, this is really good. Again, I need to ask the mother from the morning till the night how much the child was taking pre-illness and during the illness. Okay, before the hospital visit when the child was perfectly fine, then how much he took, what all, and today what all he is taking with all the kilocalories and the proteins and fat requirements. So from the birth to the present eating history, present eating habit, I must know. Okay, detail, like from the birth, how did you breastfeed your child, for how long did you breastfeed your child, did you breastfeed till 6 months, then what happened, did you start the complementary feeding or weaning food. Weaning word we kind of don't use it now. We can say complementary feeding means it's better word, means you will give breastfeeding after 6 months. With that breastfeeding you will give the other family food products also. It is there in my audio podcast. Just go to Spotify and write my name, Pediatrics by Dr. Anand. You will get the detail of complementary feeding. I have made a 5-7 minutes video of what all complementary feeds must add in a child. A lot of students have asked me after 6 months what to give to the child. So I have made a audio podcast. You can hear it there. And also nutritional requirement, nutritional history which we're talking about. We need to calculate the caloric intake of the child. The calories intake of the child is usually calculated by a formula known as Holiday and Sagar formula. Okay, you need to know the calories of the child, you need to know how much the protein the child is taking, and in some examiner wants fat also, how much gram the fat of child is taking. Calories in kilocalories and proteins in grams. Okay, so how much these my child is taking calories, proteins, and fats. I should know, okay, and that comes by Holiday and Sekar formula. Everyone knows this. Holiday and Sekar formula is nothing but it is calculated for calculating the caloric requirement. Number one, it is divided into 1 to 10 kg, 10 to 20 kg, and more than 20 kg. For 1 to 10 kg, the requirement is 100 kilocal per kg. For 1 to 10 kg baby, the requirement is 100 kilocalories per kg. For 10 to 20 kg, it is 50 kilocalories per kg, and more than 20 kg, it is 20 kilocalories per kg. This is the requirement in general. I'll give you examples also right now. Wait. Okay, so coming to the examples, basically, if I talk about, for example, the child is if 10 kg, example, 10 kg. So 10 kg, so how much I told you, for 1 to 10 kg, we the requirement is 100 kilocalories per kg, right? Means for 1 kg baby, the requirement is 100 kilocalories. Now my baby is 10 kg, so the expected kilocalorie requirement will be 100 into 10. That will be 1000 kilocalories for a 10 kg baby, for a 10 kg. Example, my baby is 12 kg. 12 kg means 10 plus 2. Okay. So the beginning 10 kg, the formula was 100 kilocalories per kg, right? So for this 10 kg, it will be 100 kilocalories per kg. For the next 2 kg, it will be 50 kilocalories per kg. Are you understanding? Yes or no? So very important, you should know this. So for the beginning 10 kgs, it will be 100 kilocal per kg. That will be around 1000. It will come 100 kilocal per kg. The formula for the next 2 kg, it will be 50 kilocals per kg. That formula we're gonna use. So it will come 50 kilocal per kg means this baby it will come 100 kilocal. So beginning 10 kg will be 1000 kilocalories. The next 2 kg will be 100 kilocalories. So the example, the answer will be 1100 kilocalories per kilocalories for 24 hours. This is the 24-hour requirement of for kilocalories of a 12 kg baby normally. Okay. Now one more example. The baby is around 25 kg. Okay, 25 kg means 10 plus 10 plus 5, right? So the beginning 10 kg, the formula I'll be for the beginning 10 kg, I'll be using the formula of 100 kilocalories per kg. For the next 10 kg, I'll be using the formula of 50 kilocal per kg, and for the next 5 kg, I'll be using the formula of 20 kilocal per kg. So the beginning and then this 5 kg will be 20 kilocal per kg. So the answer which will come is, for the beginning 10 kg it will be 1000, for next 10 kg it will be 500, and for this 5 kg it will be around 100, right? So total if you do, it will be 1600 kilocalories for 24 hours. It is a 24-hour requirement of kilocalories in a 25 kg baby. Okay, that's what you should know. So coming further now, what else left? So yes, so in detail and depth we have covered. Okay, please read this. So finally you'll write that, sir, my patient is taking 600 kilocalories. Example I'm giving you in the nutritional history, you should write this and tell to examiner, my patient is taking 60 kilocalories and 15 gram of proteins. Okay, against expected intake of 1200 kilocalories and 20 gram of proteins. So this is what you're supposed to properly write in the history. Okay, my patient is taking 60 kilocalories and 15 gram of proteins against expected intake of dash and dash, and how much kilocalories there in curd, milk, egg. Properly I have made this on YouTube channel. Okay, pediatrics by Dr. Anand, you should watch it there. How much kilocalories is what all these things are having. Okay, the name of the channel is Pediatrics by Dr. Anand. If you are watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, you can go to YouTube and access it. Okay. Next, it's a very long video. I'm already tired. My OBD is going on. Okay, what else? Okay, the next point now. So today we're talking about the nutritional history and all those history, right? So now what comes, next important thing which comes to our mind is nutritional history. So important points in the nutritional history, what all we have missed now. So almost everything we have covered in the nutritional history. So what all questions will you ask? You need to ask nutrition starting from the beginning, starting from the birth, basically, as I've already told you. What birth nutritional history you want to just confirm once, whether the baby was bottle fed or not, whether the baby was breastfed or not, Yes or no? Basic questions. You have to open your mind. Okay, whether the baby, duration of breastfeeding, for 5 minutes you were breastfeeding, for 20 minutes you were breastfeeding, from both the breast you were breastfeeding, or what? Okay, did you give colostrum, the first milk of the baby? Some badly places, like, they don't give colostrum, so it is bad. Okay, so and did you give any sugar, honey, jaggery, water to the baby, to the newborn? Yes or no? Which we do not give. Remember, we do not give, but in some places they give honey or sugar. That is bad. Are you understanding? These all questions we will ask. Okay, what else we have missed? So what all other things we will ask in the nutritional history? So other pointers. So remember this also. Yeah, the time I'm writing here. The time of interval. Okay, like how are you giving the breastfeeding? In what frequencies or occasions you're giving the breastfeeding? That also in general you should know. What all other points we have missed in the nutritional history? The other points which we can remember right now is the very important details. What details you have missed, we have left now? Okay, let me think. Exclusive breastfeeding, to details you have already asked. Were you exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months? When did you start the complementary feeding? When did you start the weaning foods? Yes or no? These are questions we have already asked. Okay, the other important question which are left now is, did you give any water, any sugar, any honey, any jaggery to the baby, to the newborn? And the answer is, we should never ever give. Okay, and if this is a good question. Some women says that, we doctor, my feed is not coming, like I have never given my breastfeeding. Some people say that. So then, if you're not giving your breastfeeding, what are you giving? Are you giving cow's milk? Are you giving buffalo milk? Are you giving bottled milk? And how are you giving that? Are you giving through katori spoon feed, or are you giving through bottle feeding? How much sugar are you adding in this? These all are very detailed, elaborative questions. You have to sit with the exam, with the patient, and ask. Okay, even complementary feeding also, in detail. Which complementary feed did you start? Did you start vegetable soup? When did you start? Some women starts by 1 year, which is very wrong. You should start by 6 months of life. Okay, what type of complementary food are we talking about? Are you talking about the rice water kind of a thing that you gave to the patient? You gave dal to the child? Any vegetable soup have you given? What's your complementary feed? How did you give? How much did you give? How well did you mix about it? Amount and quantity and frequency. These all have to be asked in depth and detail regarding the nutritional history. Examiner gets very happy if you, so much of thoughts are there in your mind. Automatically you'll start penning them down once you are asking to the your mother. Okay, yeah, this is a good question. Did you give any vitamins drops to the baby till 1 year? Yes or no? Which vitamin are we talking about? Breast milk is deficient in vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin B12 if she's a pure vegetarian. Vitamin K normally we give injection intramuscular at birth. Okay, 1 milligram we give. If the baby is less than 1 kg, then you give 0.5 milligram injection vitamin K intramuscular at birth. Okay, another vitamin which is important is vitamin D drops. Vitamin D, basically 1 ml is equal to 400 international units. A lot of composition comes, but remember one this: for a baby, in general term baby, we give 400 international units per day of vitamin D. That is for the term babies. Okay, exam question. And for preterms baby, we give 800 international units of vitamin D per day for preterms. 400 for terms and 800 for preterms. International units, IU international units, that is the unit. Okay, these are vitamin drops. These two vitamins are important. We must ask to the mother whether the baby was given or not. It will be helpful. It will be very helpful for the child. Are you understanding? Okay. And complementary feeding is in depth and detail in my audio podcast. In my audio podcast, I have explained about complementary feeding after 6 months of life, what all you can introduce, amount, frequency, duration, everything for a simple student and for a mother also. So it will be nice. Go to Spotify or Google Podcast and write my name, Pediatrics by Dr. Anand, and everything will come out free of cost. Okay, now coming to the next important point. After finishing everything comes to the immunization history. Yes or no? Immunization history. So in the immunization history, what all questions we can think about it? What all should we ask? See, again, vaccination and immunization is a separately entire different topic, which I have covered in my another apps. But in general, remember that immunization history. Why are we giving immunization? So basically, a child should have disease fighting capabilities, and disease fighting capabilities will only come when he has a good immune system, good immune status, and good immune status will only come when he has a good immunization history. So roughly you can ask the child at birth what was given. What do you give on birth? You give BCG, yes or no? BCG, OPV, hepatitis B in general you give. So you can remember like BCG. What is BCG? BCG is Bacillus calmette guerin vaccine. Okay, Bacillus calmette Gorin vaccine. Okay, it's a live vaccine. BCG is a live vaccine. Number one, it is given intradermal. Very important. Okay, roughly I'm telling you. Okay, vaccinations are separately entire topic. I'm just generally telling you. OPV also. OPV at birth you give oral polio vaccine. Oral polio vaccine. VACC. So like a lot of vaccines are there. Examiner always asks us the question, which vaccine is there which is given, you can say intradermal we give BCG, and we give rabies also. BCG you can give, rabies also you can give, IPV also some books have written. Okay, BCG and rabies you give intradermal. Okay, then comes subcutaneous. So measles is important, which is given subcutaneous. If I talk about any vaccine which is given deep intramuscular, which vaccine you give intramuscular? Okay, oral. If you talk about oral, we give oral polio vaccine, and one more, rotavirus. Have you heard of rotavirus? Rotavirus also you give oral. We have, and vitamin A. Vitamin A, remember we give oral, but it is not a vaccine. Vitamin A is not a vaccine, but we give with all the other vaccines. Roughly you should know. Okay, which vaccine is given deep intramuscular? Deep. So remember all the one with the T's, with the T. What T you're talking? TT, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, tetanus toxoid, which is TT, DPT, pentavalent. जहाँ पे wherever T is coming, these all vaccines are given in deep intramuscular. TT, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, pentavalent, DPT. All these vaccines are given intramuscular. Deep intramuscular. Are you understanding? Yes or no? These are the roughly important vaccines. Like in roughly I'm asking you questions. You should know them. Okay. Next important point which you should remember is, after all these vaccinations, yeah, after the immunization history comes the personal history. Some few personal questions regarding the child's habits, personal history. In this history, I would like to ask about child's habits, child's bowel, child's bladder. But if I talk about age, it is relevant if the child is around more than 7 years of age. It is personal history is relevant if the child is more than 7 years of age. Will you remember this? Okay, very good. Okay, and then important, what are the questions you're gonna ask him? Whether the child is a strict vegetarian or not, because if the child is a vegetarian, he will have a vitamin B12 deficiency, because vitamin B12 is present in animal food products. So is the child a strict vegetarian? That also question, it will come out as a diagnosis in my personal history. Yes or no? What all question you will ask about the bowel, you will ask about the bladder, you will ask about how is he there, is he good in schools, how he is eating habits, is he eating well, is it food fussiness, are we ruling out anorexia nervosa, his sleeping habits, is he sleeping well? Okay, yes or no? Must morning aajo. So sleeping habits, bowel habits, bladder habits. Bladder habits, what do you want to ask in bladder habits? Very important, maturation history. When the child will be dry by day and dry by night. Dry by day matlab he will not pass urine in the clothes in the daytime. So dry by day. So child will be dry by day by 18 months and dry by night by 36 months. Dry by night means in the night also he will not pass urine in the clothes and in the bed. He'll tell the mother to take him to the washroom, and then he will pass. Are you understanding? So these are the important points you must know. So that finishes in depth and detail lot of pointers today. Today we covered nicely regarding our personal history, immunization history. We covered the birth history, developmental history, nutritional history. Okay, this is like the whole sum of the case presentation, how you must understand and remember. Okay, so yeah, that is also very important. And one or two things are left in the personal history. I would like to ask regarding the child is moody or not. Is he a good child? Is he moody? Is he having any strong likes or dislikes? Does he love his friends? Does he love his parents? Does he have friends? What's his school teacher name? Does he do he make friends? And what about teachers? Is he happy with the teachers? Is very fussy child or very angry child? These all questions we have to remember, right? We should know them. So that's it. That's all about finishing this case. And adolescent babies have more history of tobacco consuming or smoking or alcohol. That also indirectly, but in very sophisticated and very beautiful manner, you should ask the whole family or the mother or the child. So these are important things. It will help you out. So that was all about this case discussion. Thank you so much for your participation. Please do like and subscribe. With a lot of hard work, I have made this, and you can be a part of my free WhatsApp group. The number is 9999897081. Thank you.